moving swiftly on. We're into the afternoon, but there's still quite a lot to come. We move from cashless now back to looking at the role of AI in this emerging financial services space. And I'd like to welcome Mohammed Roushdy from Fintech Bazaar to the stage for the next session. Welcome, Mohammed. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like, it's a very interesting topic today to talk about AI, and the use of AI to manage it, to fight fraud. I would like to invite my panelist, Dr. Mohammed Alhussein, the CEO and co-founder of Mozn, US, from KSA, one of the leading RegTech companies in the region. So I think we're going to have something interesting for you. Just quickly to introduce, AI, we have been talking about the use of AI in the good ways, It make our life easy, it can bring more revenue, better customer experience, and all of the stuff. But at the same time, the technology, AI, even AI itself, are being used to harm us, If you might hear about the deep fake, someone can talk, your same voice as your voice, everything as you are, and then, can talk to your bank account, do something else, something bad. The more you go digitization, the more we have more, holes in the system. Today we're talking about open banking, open finance, embedded finance. That means more integration from, the ecosystem partners, more integration, more system integrated, also more risks. And here we'd like to hear from Dr. Mohammed in their company, in their role from Mozn, and with his point of view, how can we mitigate this kind of risks using AI-based, ecosystem AI-based solutions?
Sure, Mohammed, thanks. I think it's good to go back and look at the problem. Why do we even need to use AI right now in the financial sector? If we look at what happened in finance, we just witnessed our colleagues speak about a lot of innovation and how banks and financial institutions are offering their services. So what happened over the last few years is a revolution in terms of how financial institutions offer their services, interact with the customers, and of course, with this digitization that's happened, a lot of risks has been introduced. We can think of, if you look at finance 20 years ago, it was a relationship between the customer and the financial institution that was built on trust. A customer would go to the bank. The bank had the time, the financial institution had time to establish the identity of the customer and start interacting with that customer. Right now, if you take a typical person, they would have maybe 10 apps in their phone that provide them access to financial services. They set up those accounts without visiting the bank. They did it in real time, and they expect to be offered the financial services in real time. So this, of course, introduces a burden to financial institutions. So financial institutions now, I think it's great. They're offering incredibly great, sophisticated, services to clients. They're easy to use. I can finance when I'm traveling. But also customers expect those services to be secure. Yes, so, which of course introduces the burden to the financial institution.
That's true.
So the financial institutions right now have to make sure that the services they're providing are secure, and it's a bit complex. Because of this digital revolution, now it's easier, as you mentioned, for fraudsters to defraud clients. I'll give you just a quick example. If I'm banking with my bank using my app, and I'm here in Dubai, and then there is a criminal on an island somewhere, on the beach during their time, who got access to my account, and they log in. Right now, banks are supposed to detect something like this.
Yes.
So using AI, they're supposed to understand the behavior, my behavior, and whenever that behavior is different, they're supposed to have the technology and have the understanding to actually stop that.
No, I think it's very important what you mentioned. The more you go in digitization, the more risks. And I think there is something else I need to take your opinion as well. I think banks, financial services, they are going very fast because also they have a pressure from everybody. Oh, why you guys are legacy? Why it take a long time to go in digital? Oh, there is many digital banks happening somewhere else on the world. You go digital. So, I think the speed they are trying to meet from a pressure from the people around them, I think it's even multiplying the issue. What do you think about that?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's only fair because if you look at the ecosystem, you have the financial institutions on one hand, we have customers, and also we have regulators. So if you think of the customers, they're very clear in their needs. They want better, faster products.
Yes.
They want products that are easier to interact with. They want less limitations in interacting with those products. And the financial institutions have identified that need, and they're working tirelessly to create such products. On the other hand, regulators need to make sure that the customers are protected. So they need to make sure that things like anti-money laundering aren't happening. They need to make sure that fraud is not happening. They make sure that risk generally is managed. So, in this ecosystem, you have, I think everybody's trying hard to create products that are satisfying, the market. But at the end of the day, this is where I think new technologies should come and play in this equation to solve that problem, such as AI.
Okay, that's great. Even with using AI and the technology, I think also the rule of getting the consumer to understand is very important. So I think we have to also mix the AI with human intuition and people awareness as well. I believe this is something else people should know about, because sometimes people know now you talk to a bot or a human and you tell people also, I think we should do some kind of awareness about what this kind of fraud. People get a OTP and then they give it to someone calling them. So will AI play a role, or also we have to bring the human factor here?
No, I think that's a great question in terms of if you look at the technology that exists right now that helps financial institutions and helps regulators. You touched on a point that I think is extremely important, which is explainability.
Yes.
If a financial institution wants to use artificial intelligence to detect fraud and other, let's say, financial crime patterns, they also need to understand that what's happening makes sense. It's very difficult for them to have a black box, a magic box. On one end comes data, and on the other hand, it says this is fraudulent. Because on the other side of this, there's a client that we're suspending their account, for example. So I think technology right now exists to where a financial institution can employ really good, great, innovative, AI-driven technology that is also explainable.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, what are we trying to achieve by using AI in financial institutions to combat financial crime? We're trying to achieve two things. Number one, to really start to identify behavior and patterns that differentiate between the real user, the real account holder, and the criminal. And AI is very powerful in actually detecting that. So that's the first. The second, if we think about, maybe 10, 20 years ago, what did financial institution have to deal with in terms of data? It was really very little. Right now, there are truckloads of data for every transaction. So every time you transact, there is your IP, there is your device, there is the time that you accessed, there is a lot, what channel did you use? Was it an online channel or was it an ATM? So there's a lot of data that the financial institution has to go through. And AI is really, really, really good at taking all this data and kind of summarizing it for the financial institution. So those are the two things that AI can help a financial institution with.
You mentioned something very important about the data, the amount of data in the financial institutions, how they are able really to tap into this and bring a value. I think, yes, the behavior is very important. Even the behavior is how you are typing your password in your mobile, how you are moving between characters. AI can differentiate you from somebody else if it's trying to take your password. But here, this will bring us to something important, the ecosystem partnership here. You need to talk to different, I'm saying especially in the case in Saudi and in UAE, you have a maybe building a very strong ecosystem for fintechs, with SAMA, with the central banks, with others, with SEMA, with too many, I think you have a great ecosystem partnership here. Do you find it easy to build this partnership so this collective efforts could come and really fight, frauds and so on, much better than being one company or two companies doing the same?
Oh, absolutely. I think the first step is we have to really recognize that, for example, fraud, it's a huge issue.
Yes.
Fraud is exploding in terms of how tough this problem is, globally, for sure, regionally, for sure, and also locally here in the GCC. Financial fraud is becoming a problem. I think everybody, when they pick up a newspaper, okay, nobody picks up a newspaper, but when they access news sites or, they go to social media and they're looking at, the latest news, fraud is a problem. In real estate here in Dubai, we've heard a lot of scams when it comes to also fraud. In Saudi, we have also a lot of issues when it comes to fraud, so it's a global problem. And regulators are recognizing this, and we can see new regulation. So that's one part of the partnerships that we really like. We see new regulation coming out, in different countries that are tackling these problems. The other issue that is also important is data integrations. You mentioned, some of the organizations that you mentioned. So at Mozn, what do we care about? We care about creating modern products that help financial institutions with combating financial crime. And we understand, a fintech, their business isn't really building anti-fraud software. Their business isn't really integrating with, different players to make sure that their clients are secure. Their business is, building a really incredibly good product in what they're doing. So what we believe in is bringing everybody, bringing the ecosystem, locally, whether it's in Saudi, whether here in the UAE or other countries, and making and building those integrations so that, financial institutions can focus on the problem at hand, and we can provide them with this platform that it makes them faster and safer.
How do you find the bank responses to working with a RegTech like you? Because still banks, I've been a CIO in banking. Most of CIOs in banking, they think they can do everything by themselves, Oh, why I get this company? Oh, I have that. My guys can do the same, It happened with me many times. So how do you see yourself being innovative, a RegTech company, collaborating with banks and helping them out to manage fraud through you, not through another one of the big companies globally?
I think this statement is true for what's happening in the financial sector in general. I believe everybody recognizes that there is a revolution.
Yes.
If you look at banks, they're working harder to digitize, their offerings. If you look at the legacy setups, they're challenging. And I'll give you a small example of this. To combat financial fraud, you need to make sure that the data that you have about the customer is in one view.
Yeah.
And, the legacy, if we're brutally honest, the legacy situation when it comes to financial institutions is you have old technologies that are siloed where data really doesn't come into play.
Yes.
So I think everybody is recognizing the need to adopt cloud technology, the need to adopt SaaS technologies, the need to adopt creative, fast, secure APIs. And we're seeing really good momentum across the different players, including banks.
I think that's great that people start buying in, that there's someone else can help you out to support you. Now we come to the AI, talents. That's one of the issues we face even when we put on an AI paper, that the risks of not having enough talents to write all of this and do explainability, for example, as you said, AI bias. There's many things here. So you need really, a great team around. How do you solve the problem for Mozn?
You mean in terms of building the capabilities?
Talents, to give the talent, to find the talents in AI.
No, I think we're incredibly lucky at Mozn to have a really talented team. I think we have one of the leading AI teams in the region. They're super talented. They work super hard to make sure that we're at the forefront of creating innovative technology that is solving challenges. We've been incredibly lucky. This is what I can say.
That's great. Thank you very much to hear that. I think we come to an end. That anybody has a question, or we can say thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed. Really, it's very inspiring. And congratulations for what's happening in Saudi Arabia in all the front, especially in the RegTech as well. Thanks a lot. Very much appreciated.
Thanks.
Thank you.